In a heated session, the U.S. House of Representatives passed a bill on December 17, 2025, imposing federal restrictions on gender-affirming medical care for transgender individuals under 18. The bill criminalizes procedures like puberty blockers, hormone therapies, and surgeries for minors, targeting healthcare professionals with severe penalties. Supporters argue it protects children from irreversible decisions, while opponents see it as a direct attack on transgender rights and well-being. The debate has thrust the issue onto the national stage, highlighting deep divisions over parental rights, medical ethics, and the definition of gender identity. The bill's passage signals a society wrestling with evolving norms and the role of government in personal healthcare decisions. The bill passed by a razor-thin margin, 216 to 211, reflecting a nation and Congress deeply divided. Nearly all Republicans supported the measure, while Democrats overwhelmingly opposed it, underscoring the partisan split on transgender rights. The Republican majority coordinated closely, with 45 members co-sponsoring the bill. Democrats unified in opposition, framing the legislation as discriminatory and dangerous, arguing that medical decisions belong to families and doctors, not politicians. The close vote reveals little middle ground and ensures the debate will remain a source of political and social friction. The outcome exposes the stark ideological chasm in Congress and the country at large. Despite party lines, a few lawmakers crossed the aisle, revealing the complex pressures they face. 3 Democrats, Vicente Gonzalez, Don Davis, and Henry Cuellar, voted for the bill, likely reflecting their conservative-leaning districts. 4 Republicans, Mike Kennedy, Brian Fitzpatrick, Gabe Evans, and Mike Lawler, opposed it, citing concerns about government overreach and personal liberty. These crossovers highlight the diversity of beliefs within each party and the influence of local constituencies. For some, the vote was a matter of conscience or professional background, as with Kennedy, a physician. Their decisions underscore that even on polarized issues, individual judgment can defy party expectations. If enacted, the bill would immediately criminalize gender-affirming care for minors, marking a dramatic shift in how medical professionals are allowed to treat transgender youth. This means that any doctor who provides puberty blockers, hormone therapy, or related treatments to minors could face severe legal consequences, regardless of the wishes of the patient or their family. The law would override established medical guidelines and put healthcare providers in an impossible position, forcing them to choose between following their ethical obligations and obeying the law. Doctors could be prosecuted and risk up to 10 years in prison simply for providing care that is widely recognized as best practice by major medical organizations. The threat of criminal charges would likely deter many from offering any form of support to transgender youth, even if they believe it is medically necessary. Parents, too, would be placed in a difficult and frightening position. They could face legal consequences for consenting to or facilitating their child's access to gender-affirming care, even if they are acting in what they believe to be their child's best interest. This law would turn private, personal medical decisions into potential crimes, making families fearful of seeking help or even asking questions about gender identity and healthcare options. Families would be forced to choose between their child's well-being and the threat of prosecution, creating an environment of fear and uncertainty. Many parents may feel isolated, unsure where to turn for support, and worried about the long-term impact on their child's health and happiness. With options limited at home, some families might consider traveling out of state or even abroad to access the care their children need. This could mean significant financial and emotional strain, as well as the risk of legal repercussions for seeking treatment elsewhere. For transgender youth, the consequences could be devastating. They would lose access to treatments that are endorsed by major medical associations as life-saving and essential for their well-being. Without support, these young people face increased risks of depression, anxiety, and even suicide. The law would likely create a chilling effect throughout the medical community, making providers hesitant to even discuss gender identity or related healthcare needs with their patients. Hospitals and clinics might suspend these services entirely, leaving families with nowhere to turn for guidance or care. The ripple effects could be felt nationwide, as providers fear prosecution and professional consequences. Even discussing gender identity with young patients could become fraught for providers, who may worry about legal liability for simply offering information or support. Ultimately, the bill's impact would reshape adolescent healthcare, deepen disparities for transgender youth, and create lasting harm for families and providers alike, changing the landscape of care for years to come. Supporters claim the bill protects children from irreversible, experimental treatments, arguing minors lack the maturity to consent. They compare gender-affirming care to other adult-only activities, insisting such decisions should wait until adulthood. Many assert that biological sex is immutable and that gender-affirming care is misguided, advocating therapy over medical intervention. Skepticism toward the medical consensus is common, with references to dissenting opinions and cautionary policies abroad. Some frame the bill as a necessary state intervention to protect children, even over parental consent, citing concerns about social pressure and regret. Opponents of the bill, a coalition that includes Democrats, civil rights organizations, LGBTQ+ advocacy groups, and leading medical associations, have voiced strong condemnation of the proposed legislation. They argue that the bill represents a discriminatory intrusion into deeply personal and private medical decisions, undermining the rights of families and individuals to make choices about their own health care. Many see this as a direct attack on the transgender community, particularly transgender youth, who already face significant challenges and marginalization in society. These groups warn that the bill will cause immense harm by denying access to medically necessary and often life-saving care for transgender minors. They highlight the already high rates of depression, anxiety, and suicide among transgender youth, emphasizing that restricting gender-affirming care could worsen these mental health crises. Parents and mental health professionals alike have expressed deep concern about the potential consequences, fearing that vulnerable young people will be left without the support and treatment they desperately need. For many, the bill is not just a policy disagreement, but a violation of fundamental civil rights. It is seen as targeting transgender people for unequal treatment under the law, setting a dangerous precedent that could erode protections for other marginalized groups as well. Protesters and advocates have rallied at state capitals, holding signs and chanting slogans in support of transgender rights and equality. Critics argue that the legislation is driven more by misinformation, fear, and political motives than by science or compassion. They point out that many lawmakers backing the bill have relied on misleading or inaccurate information about gender-affirming care, and have failed to consult with medical experts or affected families. Medical professionals stress that gender-affirming care is based on decades of research and follows established clinical standards. Treatments are carefully considered, typically beginning with reversible interventions, and surgeries for minors are extremely rare. Doctors work closely with families to ensure that every step is tailored to the individual needs of the patient, prioritizing safety and well-being above all else. In the view of opponents, the bill fundamentally misrepresents the nature of gender-affirming care and disregards the careful, individualized process that families and doctors undertake together. They urge lawmakers to listen to the voices of those most affected and to protect the rights and health of transgender youth. The House floor debate was charged and emotional, reflecting the nation's deep divide. Supporters used stark language, with some declaring, "No child is born in the wrong body," and accusing opponents of harming children. Such rhetoric framed the debate as a moral battle, intensifying animosity and leaving little room for compromise. Opponents countered with stories of transgender youth, warning of increased suicide rates and calling the bill state-sanctioned cruelty. They urged trust in doctors and families, highlighting the consensus of major medical associations. The debate became a microcosm of the national conversation, one side focused on biology and protection, the other on rights and medical necessity. The impassioned speeches underscored the personal and polarizing nature of the issue. The bill's passage sparked immediate condemnation from civil rights groups, medical associations, and LGBTQ+ advocates. The ACLU called the legislation an extreme violation of constitutional rights and pledged to challenge it in court. Organizations like the Trevor Project warned of devastating mental health impacts on transgender youth, citing alarming suicide statistics. Medical groups reiterated that gender-affirming care is evidence-based and should not be criminalized. Advocacy groups launched grassroots campaigns, public education efforts, and legal strategies to fight the bill. Their coordinated response frames the House vote as the start of a larger battle for rights, health, and dignity. With the bill's passage in the House, attention now turns to the Senate, where its future is anything but certain. The Senate, often described as the world's greatest deliberative body, is known for its complex rules and traditions, and here, the bill faces a steep, uphill battle. A filibuster looms as a significant obstacle, requiring 60 votes to advance most legislation. In today's deeply divided political climate, reaching that threshold is a daunting challenge, especially on an issue as polarizing as this one. Political calculations, party priorities, and the upcoming election season all play into whether Senate leaders will even bring the bill to the floor for debate, let alone a vote. Even with a Republican majority, the numbers simply aren't there to guarantee passage. Many senators are wary of alienating key constituencies, and some may prefer to avoid a public fight over such a contentious topic. Senate leaders must weigh the risks and rewards of prioritizing a bill that could further inflame partisan tensions and dominate headlines. Regardless of what happens next, the bill's journey has already intensified the national conversation about transgender rights, healthcare, and the role of government. Its passage in the House is more than a legislative milestone. It's a signal flare in a culture war that shows no signs of fading. The debate has spilled out of the halls of Congress and into the streets, with passionate protests, rallies, and heated discussions on social media and in communities across the country. For transgender youth and their families, the bill's progress has already sparked deep concern and anxiety. Many feel that their rights, safety, and access to essential healthcare are under direct threat from the highest levels of government. The uncertainty and fear generated by this legislation have real consequences, affecting mental health, family stability, and the sense of belonging for some of the nation's most vulnerable young people. The issue at the heart of this bill is about much more than politics. It raises profound questions about the intersection of science, medicine, parental rights, personal freedom, and equality under the law. Medical professionals, parents, and advocates are all grappling with what it means to protect children, respect families, and ensure that everyone has access to the care they need. For some supporters, the bill represents a necessary step to safeguard children and uphold certain values. For opponents, it's a direct attack on the right to exist, to be recognized, and to receive medically recommended care. The stakes are deeply personal, and the consequences will be felt for years to come. No matter the outcome in the Senate, the House vote has ensured that this debate will remain a defining, contentious, and emotional feature of American life, shaping policy, politics, and personal lives for the foreseeable future.